Hi, welcome back to the workshop, and today we are looking at the unique Stania Turbomotive. Well, Mike, this is something that is not seen very often at all. Not just the Turbomotive, but the Turbomotive in LMS livery and BR livery as well, before it was converted to a standard locomotive.
Well, that's right. So, the Turbomotive has never been made as a ready-to-run locomotive. Really great to see Hornby turning their attention to such a unique locomotive, and not just modelling it as it was built in 1935, but modelling it in its BR condition as well, when it had quite a few modifications to it.
They both look absolutely exquisite. And I love the differences between both locomotives as well. There's small differences in the body. Of course, the livery is different. They look amazing, don't they?
They certainly do.
So why did Stania actually take one of his locomotives and build it as a turbomotive? What was the justification behind that?
Well, the aim was to try a different way of powering the locomotive. It had steam turbines rather than being a steam boiler that drove cylinders, and that meant it actually, one of the big benefits of it was it reduced the hammer blow effect you got from a conventional steam locomotive. I believe it was fairly successful in service, but then it had a turbine failure, which then led to it being rebuilt eventually as 46202, which then unfortunately didn't last very long after being rebuilt.
No, if anyone knows their railway history, it was unfortunately destroyed in the Harrow and Wealdstone disaster in 1952.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So look, underneath these exquisite bodies, what's actually driving these locomotives?
Right, so as standard with a Hornby locomotive, they've got a 5-pole motor inside the locomotive, that's driving the driving wheels. You've then got a 21-pin decoder socket, which is actually now back inside the locomotive rather than being in the tender. You've also got some new features on this as well. So for starters, it's got working directional lights on it, which are really quite nice. The only problem I suppose I'd say with them is they're a little bit too white in terms of light. For a steam air loco, they should be more yellowy colour. And then the additional feature, they've also got a firebox glow inside the cab. And then a feature I really like actually is they've got a touch sensitive switch to turn the tail lamp on and off.
That's on the tender, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So you literally tap the sides of the tender and the tail light turns on or off depending on which status it's in. Tap the tender sides again and it reverts the opposite way.
It really is it's amazing sort of new technology. It's the small differences that just make something that's unique.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I think is probably missing from this compared to, for example, the P2 we just looked at, is it's not got the kinematic coupling between the loco and tender, so it's back to the previous design with the fixed bar and the 4-wire cable running between loco and tender.
Yeah, but one of the things I actually like a lot is you've got a die-cast body for the locomotive. It's a very heavy model.
Yeah, and it takes the paint better as well, in my view. It's like the die-cast body seems to reflect a metal locomotive much more realistically for me than a plastic body locomotive. Maybe I'm just a bit fussy like that. But it's got that kind of sheen, that kind of metallic finish, and like I say, you feel the weight of the model as well when you handle it.
And as far as haulage is concerned, because obviously you do have a heavier body for the locomotive, how many carriages can it pull?
We've had this running up to 12 coaches on the test track, and we've had it running throughout an entire weekend at the Spalding Model Railway Exhibition on Grosvenor Square as well. We couldn't resist taking it with us for a bit of a run out, so it has run very successfully throughout all that time as well. So plenty of hard testing for this locomotive in both the environment here in the workshop and out on show as well.
Wonderful. And of course, like most Hornby models, this can be easily converted to DCC. You can put a sound fitting in there as well.
Yeah, that's right. So it's got a speaker space in the locomotive right underneath the chimney, actually. It's a space for one of the new Hornby 15 by 11mm cube speakers. So if you're going down the TXS route, you could use one of their speakers in there. Like I said, the 21-pin socket is actually right inside the boiler, just about here. And then in the tender, if you really wanted to, there is technically space for another speaker in there if you wanted to do. It's got conventional tender weight in there, so you could put a 28mm speaker underneath it. Or if like you've got your eyes on it like I have, then I'm thinking, what else can I get in the tender? There's a speaker going in it. So
you're always thinking of something, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic looking locomotives. And I think actually you mentioned it before, the detail difference between the BR version and the LMS version is really nice to see.
Oh, completely. Absolutely. And the thing is, I mean, I think most people always think of it in its LMS guise, not its BR guise, because they think of BR, they think of after it being converted back to a standard locomotive again.
That's right, yeah.
And as far as availability and price is concerned, what are the options?
Right, so they're in stock right now, and they're available both DCC ready and DCC sound fitted. The DCC ready versions, they're priced at £266.49, and the DCC sound fitted ones, which come with Hornby's new TXS chip factory fitted to them, they'll be £312.99.
Wonderful. And of course, you can read the full review of these locomotives and also a history as such of the locomotives in edition HM198, which is available right now. And more importantly, of course, our LMS livery over there, you can actually go into a draw to win this very model which you've seen running around on this video. And I tell you what, lucky person's going to win that one. It's a fantastic
So yeah, if you head on over to keymodel.com, you'll be able to enter that competition and have the chance to win that wonderful LMS Crimson Lake livery.
Absolutely. Well, look, thank you so much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.